And welcome everybody to MJT's Wycombe Wanderers Plus, and here we go again with the European programme number 4, and we've had some really exciting games. And welcome my friends to the show that never ends, and it's certainly, what a shame, the last game. This is Sunday night, by the way, and we've just watched a real good game between not Holland, it's the Netherlands, by the way. I've had a look at a map and the difference, worth having a look. So the Netherlands winning their game 3-2 against Ukraine. Now, here's a few interesting bits and pieces as we go along. Well, just to say, Sterling has obviously just helped England win their first game. A fan in serious condition after falling from the stands at Wembley. Didn't see that.
There was a picture of, you know, like the blue strips they had around the edge. There were two fans that fell onto one of those. I don't think it was them because they seemed rather happy. But it looked as if it was pretty easy to do. Okay. Hence why this situation may have happened.
Mbappe admits he was affected by Giroud's comments. It seems that Giroud has stuck a knife in, hasn't he? Saying something about he never passes the ball to me or something. Selfish is what he's suggesting. Jude Bellingham is the youngest ever player at the European Championships, but he might not hold on to that for very long. When do Poland play? Is that tomorrow?
Might be, yeah. They've
taken a player younger that is probably going to start, and he's a few days younger than Jude Bellingham, so he might actually hold on to that just for 24 hours. Ericsson, that game was interesting, wasn't it? Ericsson, cardiac arrest, not a heart attack. I'm an expert in this sort of thing. Well, I'll do my first aid stuff all the time. Difference, if you're interested, between a cardiac arrest and heart attack. Heart attack is blood that sort of doesn't get through. It sort of gets blotted and sort of dodgy. A cardiac arrest is literally the heart pumping stops, and that can be caused by a number of things, including a virus. So maybe he's had the wrong jab.
It is worth mentioning, though, that he's now seemingly okay.
He's doing fine, yeah, he's doing fine. And it gives Denmark a good excuse for their game. On that, shall we go for it, Kieran? Let's start with game number 1 on Friday, Italy versus Turkey. Well, didn't I get that slightly wrong?
Well, we bigged up Turkey, didn't we? Calling them dark horses for this tournament. Whether we can judge that against Italy, I don't know. But I think we can certainly say that Turkey aren't going to do too many things against the decent teams.
I was disappointed with Turkey for a number of reasons. But one of the main ones was I thought, they came out to defend totally, didn't they?
Against a defensive Italy team.
Yeah. I mean, Turkey played a 4-1-4-1. I mean, they were as defensive as you. In fact, that's what it's set up as, but they tended to play 6 at the back throughout most of the game. Even when they were 2-0 down, they had 6 at the back. Don't get that. That was ridiculous. They were so lopsided as well. They were all down one side.
Italy were pretty good, though.
So Turkey looked crap. Italy, on the other hand...
It's interesting, aren't they? Because they don't have anyone who you instantly think of when you look at their team. Like, obviously, England have Kane, Portugal have Ronaldo, France have Mbappe. Italy don't have their kind of star man, do they? And there's a few pundits saying that could probably help them. As to why, not entirely sure. Like team cohesion and that sort of thing. Maybe when you're on the pitch, you're not really focusing on that one guy to do everything for you. But it is evident that Italy have a lot of solid, decent 7 to 8 out of 10 players.
Yeah, they looked a team, didn't they? They did look a team playing well. I mean, Wales moving on because their group. Of course, we had Wales and Switzerland, and I always think when you say, "Oh, you know that they deserve to win or they didn't deserve to win," I always think that's probably a bit unfair because if you are the better team and don't score, well, it's your own fault. And I think that applied to Switzerland. They had that game. They should have smashed Wales. They certainly looked like they should have done. They were far better at football and creating, but they didn't score other than one goal. Or just to say, the Italy-Turkey, that Kieran predicted 1-1, by the way, and I predicted Turkey winning. That's why we say we got it completely wrong. Because of course, But the Wales-Switzerland game, you predicted it'd be 3-1 to Wales, so you definitely got that upside down.
No, I was just being optimistic.
And I put 0-0, so I think I deserve at least get the draw for that. I did get the draw. I thought Switzerland looked good. And I thought Wales looked shocking.
I think it's a bit unfair to say that on Wales because Wales have kind of given themselves a reputation now, or have given themselves a reputation of supposedly being quite good in everyone's head because they got to the semi-finals in the last Euros, and they have Bale, they have Ramsey, they have a few other players who everyone knows can kind of do a few things, whereas Wales are still very, kind of new to all of it, to like being in tournaments in general. They didn't get to the World Cup in 2018. People talk about they didn't even qualify. They have qualified for this tournament, and that in itself for Wales is pretty decent. Because another example, Norway. I mean, they have Haaland. Haaland arguably is probably better than he is better than Bale, and they didn't even qualify. So Wales getting a point against Switzerland, I think, is a very decent result.
I think Switzerland, the thing is, we judge it on the name and history, don't we? Rather than on the team. It's a different team in there from what we've seen before. We just presume Germany are good and we just presume Switzerland aren't. But Switzerland are a good, decent team. They got some good players in that team.
I think Wales may have... in that game in particular, they had the best player, arguably Bale. But then the rest of the solid, decent players all were in the Switzerland team. Wales have a lot of players who kind of bring them back down to earth almost. And is why they probably won't get very far. Because there's a few of their defenders who I thought were pretty ropey. Could get caught out pretty easily. And the midfield just seemed a little bit weak.
I thought Davis was okay at the back. I thought
Davis was good. Yeah.
And what do you reckon to Moore playing more up front then?
I think it's what they have to go for. I think it's what they have to go for. These kind of cheap-headed goals. Because you're not going to see Wales outpass the team, really, are you? I don't think.
No.
And most of their goals in the last tournament were either free kicks or headers. Hence, they are set pieces are the best chance. And obviously, that's where they got their goal on Saturday. It was.
Embolo looked good, though, did he, for Switzerland?
He didn't, or did?
He did.
Yeah, but he missed a few. He did miss a few.
They made a mistake taking Shaqiri off, didn't they?
Well, he created more chances than anyone in the game. I think it was 4 he created. Despite not getting the ball that much. Didn't get that many touches of the ball.
He looked a bit knackered, but it didn't matter. He wasn't running himself silly into the ground.
No.
But what he did have was class when he had the ball at his feet.
It's a final ball into the box, wasn't it? That you can see that he could do and not many of us on the pitch could do.
That's right. That's right.
But I mean, at the end of the day, for Switzerland and for Wales, maybe Switzerland's more so because they're more likely to win. They've got a very decent chance of getting into the next round at the expense of Turkey, which is
Well, I was just about to say, if we look, I'm sorry, I'm rushing this through really, so
not that bad.
Talk over the top of me. We put it down as Italy, Turkey, Switzerland, Wales. Well, we got Italy right. Do you think the trouble with Switzerland and Wales drawing, of course, is they've taken points off of each other? Turkey can still play Switzerland and Wales.
I mean, for Wales and Switzerland to get through, it requires them to both beat Turkey. So this is all us suggesting, as a result of their performance against Italy, that Turkey aren't what we thought they were. And realistically, we can't really say that.
No.
Because they're going to have a different format to how they played against Italy when they played Wales and Switzerland. But I think if either of those countries get 4 points, and they have a big chance of going through, whether that be in second or in third.
Yeah. But Switzerland and Wales, they're going to get their 3 points off of Turkey.
Yeah.
If they're going to get through.
Realistically, Wales in this game had to give themselves a fighting chance of going through and staying in the tournament, and they've done that.
Yeah.
Because Turkey is the team that they're most likely to beat.
Would you change that lineup? Italy 1, Turkey 2, Switzerland 3, Wales 4.
Probably put. Shame I don't have it in front of me, but it depends on who plays Italy next, potentially. I'm going to say.
I think Switzerland do, don't they?
So that suggests that Wales play Italy last.
I think.
I'll probably go Italy, Wales, Switzerland, Turkey. I'm going to be optimistic and say that Wales beat Turkey and then potentially get a draw against Italy.
Oh, yeah. Wales play Turkey next on Wednesday. So that's the game, isn't it? That's the game. So you must watch at 5 o'clock on Wednesday, Turkey versus Wales, because that will decide.
If Wales win, they get through, I think.
That'll be the one. Yeah.
And Turkey obviously would be out.
Yeah.
Already.
So that's okay. Next group. Well, we've just watched. We watched. Where did we go? Denmark, Finland was the first game we saw. Now, Kieran predicted 2-0 to Denmark. I predicted 1-1. Now, as much as anybody wants to say, well, it was because, and how do you expect them to play? I don't go with that because you don't know. I mean, that affected everybody. It affected Finland. At the point that he went down, I thought that Denmark were never going to score. Okay, is the honest truth. The statistics say that Denmark had the 70% of the ball. They had 1.82 expected goal difference. They had 22 shots. It wasn't like that because of Eriksson that they just lost it and went into defence. They created 20 chances, and we said before all this that the thing Denmark can't do is score a goal, and that they rely on Eriksson. Well, that answers that, doesn't it? Those statistics.
I mean, if we're talking about the game, yes. However, you do want to put the game in perspective in that it just didn't matter after that point.
No, I'm not saying it is, but we're talking about football, aren't we?
The thing is, I don't understand how the game still went ahead. Quite honestly, I think it's an absurd decision.
They were given the choice of then or today?
Well, it was because they had a call from Ericsson, didn't they? And he said that they should carry on playing. But regardless, if I was a player, I would still be affected by all that.
I think they all were.
But yeah, I mean, but if we're going with what actually happens in the match, Finland did only have one shot, didn't they?
They did.
And they did score it.
They did.
And I mean, Denmark had their penalty. There was one of the worst penalties I've ever seen. You can tell that Ericsson is normally their penalty taker.
Was it a penalty? I didn't see how it could possibly been a penalty.
I'm trying to remember what it was.
Well, he was about 2 foot away from the player when they gave it as a bad tackle. Wasn't even near it.
Yeah, I think I remember it being a little bit meh.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's similar to what you said earlier about Switzerland, Wales. Maybe one of those ones where, based on shots and possession, all that, Denmark may have deserved it, but Finland get the win, don't they?
I thought Finland played it right, and I thought they, Yeah,
but it's then if you can say that, but then if Finland don't score that one shot that they had, I mean, quite honestly, the keeper should save it for one thing because it was straight at him essentially. And if on another day, Denmark may have scored 2 or 3. It's just one of those where Finland have snatched a win.
Yeah, strange game. As you say, not the most important thing in the world, but you also have to say you haven't. I mean, as much as people will say, well, I mean, they lost because nobody can say that. You don't know. They hadn't scored in the first half.
No.
And so who's to say they were going to score in the second half with him on the pitch? You don't know. I mean, it would have affected the linesman, the referee giving a penalty that definitely wasn't. Because you just don't know. I mean, let's be honest. I don't know about you, but I found it really difficult to concentrate watching it. So I'm damn sure the players weren't that.
It's all you kind of, yeah.
That's a strange game. But then we go into Belgium-Russia. Belgium, you predicted 3-1. I predicted 3-0. And the score was
3-0.
3-0. I got one right.
Well, it won me £6. Sounds pretty good.
Yeah. Fair result all round. What can you say about that game? Not a lot, really.
Not too much actually happened, did it? Belgium controlled it from start to finish without De Bruyne and Hazard for the majority of it as well. I mean, I think it's very clear that the top goal scorer in the tournament was playing for Belgium. Lukaku was clinical, didn't he? He just did. And he is their out-and-out goal scorer, which, and none of their other team, none of their other players seem as though they're going to score too many. I think Lukaku is definitely favourite for the Golden Boot. And it was a solid performance in which they didn't really have to work too hard for it. And if they can play like that, without De Bruyne and Hazard, then who knows what they could do in the future rounds.
It was you couldn't judge Belgium on that performance because it was just a walkover.
They will twat Denmark and Finland, won't they, as well?
They will. So we've got it down as, in this order, Belgium, Denmark, Russia, Finland. Where'd you go with that?
Probably put Russia in second now.
Would you?
Yeah, because I can't imagine Finland are gonna. Well, they're definitely not going to be Belgium, and it would be between them and Russia in their game, assuming that Denmark aren't going to be in any sort of mindset to do anything now, unless it really propulses them to, get a few wins, which I would doubt, because I'd imagine it would bring you down as opposed to up. But yeah, I'd put Russia in there now. I think they've got a few players, Cheryshev and Zuba, who can do a few things.
So the game that we want to watch then really is Finland-Russia. And that is also on Wednesday, can I just say, at 2:00 in the afternoon. So the real big two games are going to be 2:00 Finland-Russia and 5:00 Turkey-Wales. And those two games will decide, we think, groups A and B, in fact.
Become seconds, yeah.
Okay. So we might swap Russia and Denmark places. Now we move into, well, we'll go into Group C, where we got what's happened in Group C. I wonder.
It's England, isn't it? Is it?
Well,
or is
not
that Group
my
D?
paper. It's not. No,
It's Group D, isn't it?
it is. It is. Today. So this was Austria, North Macedonia, 3-1.
Didn't watch this one.
What did you predict? You
3-all,
predicted 3-all, and I predicted 3-1. Hey, I'll win that one. Austria, North Macedonia. Can I just say now that guy who plays for Austria at the back, who we talked about, they can never find out where to play him. Alaba, who was man of the match. His cross, I might add, on one of the goals was just absolute beauty. But do you know how much he earns? He's going to be earning for the next 5 years.
Isn't it like 400k at Madrid? Something absurd.
It's 250,000 a week.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
250,000 a week at Real Madrid.
I know. But it's not like he's not getting on a bit as well. I've
never even heard of him.
You must have done. He's been a Bayern for ages. Yeah.
But anyway, what did we think to that? Well, we've seen Austria before, and North Macedonia, I have to say, were really good fun. They went for it when they were always going to be hit. They went for it. And I think both teams looked very good. Austria played a 3-5-1-1, I think. And that worked. Obviously, they won. Took them a while, mind you. It did take them a while. I mean, North Macedonia had played 2 up front, which goes to show they weren't just in there to sit back. And I really enjoyed that game. Anything to say about that one?
Can't lie. Was the one I did not watch.
Was it?
Yeah. Out of all of them that I thought I'd miss that one.
The other one, if you just watched the one that's just finished?
I've watched bits of it, yeah.
Yeah. So we've just finished the Netherlands. We must say the Netherlands. If anybody wants to see the...
Yeah, but then you're going to say the Ukraine, and it's not supposed to be Ukraine, is it? The Ukraine.
No, it's Ukraine.
Yeah.
So we had Netherlands versus Ukraine. And, oh boy, Kieran predicted 3-2, and I predicted 2-2, and I thought I'd got that one in the bag until so had the Netherlands, and it ended up 3-2. What now? Did you put any money on that one?
I did not.
3-2.
Well, if I had put money on that, I would have never expected it to come in, and yet here we are.
So you didn't put any money on it?
Shame. No, I put money on the England game, but that house didn't go too well.
Well, what do you think to this game then? Because can I just say just one tiny thing, and that is Netherlands are famous, as they said on TV, in fact, about the 4-3-3 system they play. And everybody in the Netherlands, that's probably not true that everyone, but they expect them to play that system. Well, this guy, their manager, doesn't play that system. And they don't like it, and they actually even had a plane go over the training ground yesterday with just 4-3-3 behind. rather than they didn't have get rid of the manager or anything like that. They just had 4-3-3 written on
I
it.
feel like out of all the things you can get annoyed about, that's not the one. If it's tradition and all that sort of thing, then I can understand why you'd be somewhat annoyed. But I think a plane's a bit far.
I think it's got too much money. Whoever did
Yeah.
that.
But in terms of the game, I mean, the game was the best of the tournament so far, wasn't it?
Oh, wasn't it good
It was great.
I mean, you have to give the Ukraine credit for that game as well. I felt sorry for the goalkeeper. It took them definitely a bit.
The number of saves he made in the first half.
I know.
Bless him.
And I also think Depay.
No? I thought he was great. Why not?
Selfish.
Maybe, but then
I don't like selfish forwards.
No, I know you don't, but there's some of the attackers in the Dutch team that you can tell he's got a bit more than they do, which may be on his minds. I thought he was really good. I can understand where you're coming from, to be fair, but
he'd score more if he passed more, because it'd get him into better positions.
Potentially, yeah. That's just. I'm not even sure that's selfish. I was thinking about this the other day. It could just be that some players just don't get their head up enough and aren't aware of their surroundings enough, as opposed to they're selfish. I don't know whether if them not getting their head up is a selfish thing to do, but they may just not be aware when they should be. Not sure if they choose not to pass to a certain person, but who knows?
Well, here's a couple of interesting points, and that is 3 goals to Netherlands, and the expected goals was 1.65, and this is a bit more interesting. In Ukraine, the expected goals was 0.56, and they scored 2.
Well, I mean, their second goal obviously wasn't very expected, was it? Absolutely worldy, wasn't it?
And their first goal was terrific. I thought. But the passing success, 90% to the Netherlands, 82% to Ukraine. I mean, I thought they all played. I thought that was a great game. And I'll tell you, the game to watch out of that one, you have to say, is Ukraine versus North Macedonia. Because had you watched North Macedonia and you've seen Ukraine, those two playing each other is going to be fascinating. It's going to be a great game. When that is, I haven't seen. I don't know.
Probably Thursday.
That's Thursday. Is it? Yes, it is Thursday. Another 2:00 in the afternoon for all you that go to work. That's a bad luck for you. Me, of course, I'm going to miss the Netherlands versus Austria. I'll be at work. That's 8:00 in the evening. Okay. What we've got in order: Holland, Ukraine, Austria, North Macedonia.
Probably stick with that. You'd imagine it'll be Ukraine versus Austria where it gets decided, won't it?
Yeah. Okay, and now we come to the one game that's been played in Group D. Now, which game was that? Let me try and think. Oh, yes, England versus Croatia.
Welcome to the pessimistic show.
Pessimistic show. Here we go.
Whilst the whole country is really happy that we've won, I'm about to slam it into the ground.
Okay. Go. Slam it into the ground, Kieran.
Right.
Do your nasty thing.
I have never seen a team play it so slow out of the back as that England team did today. Like, the first 10 minutes of the first half were great because we actually had a few shots and a few chances. Foden hit the post. We had people running at the opposition. The rest of the game was Mings passing it to Stones, passing it to Trippier, passing it to Phillips, passing it back to Stones. And it just went in that little square and nothing happens. Like, the midfielders we have that can carry the ball forward, like Mount and Foden and Sterling at times, and Grealish didn't even get on the pitch, for crying out loud. Like, we have so much talent up there. Kane didn't touch the ball the whole game.
He was on the halfway line. We discussed him, though, didn't we, beforehand? He is not going to be much cop. This
maybe he was on the halfway line, but he didn't even get the ball on the halfway line. People said that. I imagine you may have seen the social media reaction and all that sort of thing.
No.
Calvin Phillips has been lauded as one of the was given man of the match effectively, and everyone said he played fantastically well. If he had done anything less than what he had done, then he would have been the worst player on the pitch for me. Because if he didn't do what he did do, then he wouldn't have done anything. Like, he passed it sideways, and that was fine. People said he marked Modric out the game. I didn't see any of that. Modric had enough of the ball. It was just Croatia weren't very good either.
Yeah, I agree with Modric had enough of the ball.
He had the ball the whole time. It wasn't that he marked out the game at all.
That's right.
Phillips was good. He did what he should have done. He did what he should have done, but I don't think he did anything special. And the problem is that because of this reaction that he's got, Sterling scoring and us getting a clean sheet, it means that them players that were questioned at the beginning may well start the next game as well, when it should be players like Henderson and Grealish and Chilwell or Shaw coming into left back that should get in the team, and they're not going to based on this performance.
Well, I'm surprised. I'm looking on here at FOTMob, okay, and they've given the players marks out of 10.
Yeah. And
they've given, I'll start at the bottom, okay. Foden gets 6 as the worst player.
Well, he was a worst player, was he?
That's what they've given him.
Blimey.
Followed by Kane at 6.7. Okay. Followed by Rice at 7.
So they've given everyone above a 7, effectively.
Then Mount 7.1.
Yeah.
Walker and Stones 7.2. That baffles me. Walker was desperate.
Awful. Reece James must be licking his lips at that, flipping out.
Desperate he was. Trippier 7.3. Mings 7.7, along with Sterling at 7.7. Oh, I missed Pickford out 7.1. But yeah, so those two get 7.7. How can Mings get 7.7? I mean, what did he do?
Do you get marks for passing the ball sideways?
I don't know. And then Phillips gets 8.1. Now, if you go into Croatia's team, you see, I mean, their goalkeeper gets 5.6.
Yeah.
Right? But they only give Modric 7.3. So he got less. He got the same as Trippier, almost the same as Walker and Stones. But he stood out on that football pitch as being the one that might create something. I'm baffled by that. Do you know, I read an article to do with, because you know Modric made some comment about England, didn't he?
Well, us having all the home games.
Yeah, he said, and we're also always so cocky.
Yeah.
I can't remember.
It's like we're expected to win everything.
Yeah.
Or we expect England to do well.
Arrogant is the word they use. And I think he's sort of right in the sense of not necessarily the players or the manager, but there is this expectancy that we will win. We're almost like Sunderland with that in Division 1, I think, and that you don't win anything and you haven't won anything forever, but you still consider yourself bigger than others. And I think that is often the case. There was no do you know how many games we've actually won in competitive international football knockout stage? Since 1966, we've won 8 games in the tournaments in knockout stage since 1966. And what gets right up other teams' noses is songs like "It's Coming Home" and things like that. They think we're arrogant. Are we?
I don't think there's anything wrong with fans getting very excited and supporting the team as much as they do. Because I think England, the vibe in the street, like when we were walking out the pub earlier, was amazing. Because people singing, etc., etc. It was great. But it was like the last World Cup, we weren't expected to do anything. And I hope people remember that this Euros, we shouldn't be expected to do anything either.
No.
Like the bookies saying that we're second favourites for or that sort of thing is just complete trash. The reason that I think there's such a belief that we could win this tournament is because of some of the players we do have. Like James Rodriguez in the 2014 World Cup carries Colombia to, I think it was the quarters or the semis. It could be a breakout tournament for someone like a Phil Foden or a Mason Mount or a Grealish, where they play amazingly and carry us all that way. That could easily happen. We have a lot of players who can, break down defenses and can score lots of goals against teams. The reason we won't do that, or I don't think we will, is because of the manager. Because obviously, the manager has told us to play a certain way. And I don't know why that is, because the fullbacks for Croatia didn't really have that much defending to do. It was all positional defending. It was all keeping in your shape. That's all it was. And the one time that they cocked it up, we scored. So fine, we win the game, and it's a positive result. However, the rest, if they didn't do that, then it would have been 0-0, and we wouldn't have barely had a shot.
Let's put it this way. Okay, I think this is quite.
But we do have the players to do something big. But I don't.
Well,
think
we've got the players behind the number 9. That's where all our players are.
Our midfield and our forwards are as good as any in the tournament, in my opinion. We
created 6 chances. They created 5. We had a total of 8 shots. They had a total of 8 shots. They had 1 corner. We had 1 corner. We had 2 offsides. They had 2 offsides. Where the difference was, expected goals was 1.51. Theirs was 0.36. Therefore, we missed our chance.
It was the Kane chance, wasn't it, at the back post that was in from?
I worry so much about him. I really do.
He didn't touch the ball at all, did he?
He's not a number 9.
Kane?
Was there. He was on that pitch trying to create chances.
No, but
he wasn't on there trying to score them, was he?
No, but I feel like he easily could be an England number 9. He has been an England number 9.
He was. He
but
needs
at the
to
moment,
go to Manchester City and learn his job again.
Because Mourinho's cocked it up.
Basically, he's playing as he did on the Spurs pitch. He's not playing as a centre forward, is he? Where he was never in the box.
That was once.
That wasn't Sterling's goal. That should have been his goal. He should have been centre forward. but Sterling was centre forward.
I mean,
Where was he on the
you
pitch
may-
when
you
that
may
ball went
look-
in the net?
I actually don't know, but you may look back at the tape and see that his movement brought out the defender that meant that Sterling could get in. I don't know whether it was that, but yes, you are right in that Kane, it was his position almost. But as I say before, like the thing is, if that one scenario doesn't happen or that one defender doesn't make the mistake of being dragged out, then we're stuck at a 0-0. And what do we think now? Yes, we'll have enough to beat Scotland and we'll have enough to beat Czech Republic. But then we play France or Portugal. And we ain't breaking down France or Portugal like that.
Well, that's what we'll see, isn't it?
It's the one thing where Maguire might actually be helpful, because you see for United, he does actually bring the ball out, whereas Mings and Stones, all they do is give it to the fullbacks.
And didn't we say that what's going to be the biggest disappointment? And I said it's going to be sat there waiting for Grealish to get on the pitch, and he won't.
Won't believe it. Like I suppose it may be another thing. I think he will be a superstar in the future, Bellingham. But if you're bringing on a 17-year-old, at the end he's 17. He's barely played a football match. He hasn't had his A levels, and is he seriously our best option to bring on? Like,
worrying, isn't it?
He can't be. Surely there's got to be someone else who is, has experience and actually has done stuff. I want to be optimistic about it, but I want us to have games like Netherlands versus Ukraine, where we scored 2 or 3, and we kind of leave ourselves a little bit open at the back, because that means we take more risks up the top, and we have much bigger chance of scoring. Whereas we just don't.
That back line, though, we don't. I mean, Trippier, for God's sake.
I don't understand how Shaw and Chilwell didn't play. Walker was. It should be. I mean, Reece James, as I said, should be licking his lips.
Of course. After that game, but will he get on?
I hope so. It's weird in the tournament, because normally you do have like your starting 11 and you stick to it. Whereas, how much do they take into account form? Like, does Southgate look at that and think, maybe I do need to switch him out? Because on form he has to.
Yeah.
But at least we won. And we will get out of the group, supposedly, based on that result. So, and we do still have Grealish to come. And for me, he could change all of it.
Yeah. Okay, then. Right, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 games before our Wednesday morning group. And we got Scotland, Czech Republic. Score, Kieran.
You know what? To make the England game interesting, I want Scotland to... Oh, do we want Scotland to win in that case? Probably don't. But I do kind of want Scotland to win.
You do with a light, mate.
2-1 Scotland.
Okay. I've put 1-1. Poland, Slovakia.
1-1.
Oh, that's interesting. Because I put 2-1 to Poland. We're swapping. Spain, Sweden.
Sweden are my sweepstake team, but they're not going to beat Spain. 3-0? 3-1. 3-1.
3-1. Well, I've put 2-0 to Spain. Hungary against Portugal.
4-0 Portugal.
I've put 3-0. It's interesting because we haven't. Okay, France, Germany.
No.
God, you can't
1-1.
mind that. 1-1.
Something was telling me to go for Germany. But I'm going to put 1-1.
Okay, well, I'll put 2-0 to France. Although I'll be interested to know if this Mbappe chit-chat Giroud might cause a little bit of a stir. You never know.
You imagine that Giroud doesn't start, but...
Yeah, you've only got to be not if it's not a happy camp. People take sides. You don't need that really. It doesn't help. Okay, so we come back on Wednesday then.
Please.
And do we have anything else to you want to say? I mean, I've got one other thing that I have to say that I think has been really, really exciting and good. That's that little car that brought the football on at the beginning. Wasn't that exciting?
I mean, great advertising, to be fair. Was pretty good.
Yeah.
What other things have there been?
And so
I think the Italians singing the national anthem was fun as well.
Yeah.
Very passionate. Loved it.
So what's been the best part so far? Best thing so far?
England scoring and the pub going wild that I was in.
Okay. Well, what would I say? What would I say has been the best bit for me so far? I think just starting on Friday night. I mean, thank goodness. We were able to miss one or two of those dreadful TV programs on Friday. I was allowed to watch it.
Miss Gogglebox, surely.
No, we had to watch that later.
Oh, that's all right.
What's been... Well, we won't go into... I mean, obviously, you can say the worst part and everybody's going to jump up with Ericsson. But take Ericsson out of the equation, what has been the biggest disappointment? Leave England out of it as well.
If we're going to get political, people booing when they're taking the knee, that's still happening.
I find it a little bit naff when the opposition have the ball and people start to boo. I find that
ball. They did that. So, are you referring to England versus Croatia when Croatia?
No, all of them. All of them. You get it. You get it a lot, and I'm not sure I like that particularly.
I think that's. Yeah, I can understand why it's a little bit meh. I think that's casual fans doing that because it's almost like what you're supposed to do, as opposed to just watching it tactically. It's just like, oh no, the opposition's got the ball. I've got to make them do bad, and you boo them. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of that either, to be fair.
And last question. The last question has to be, and what's been the best skillful goal you've seen so far?
Probably Yarmolenko for Ukraine. This just happened. Curler into the top corner, wasn't it? It was very good.
That was smart, wasn't it? Left footed, wasn't it?
But you have to also say that Lukaku's finishing looks very good as well.
Yeah,
especially for his second.
Yeah, he's
looks sharp.
Yeah.
Sharp.
Yes, it'd be interesting to see the next decent player United get and ruin.
Yep. Well, I imagine it'll be whoever's the superstar in this tournament.
Well, aren't they picking up Mr. German player? He's English, but plays in Germany.
Oh,
they got
what Sancho?
Yeah.
Personal terms have been agreed, haven't they?
Yeah, so it could be his career just about downhill.
Actually, that was something that I didn't understand because we have a 26-man squad.
You're going to say they have to name so many, and he had two goalkeepers on the bench.
Well, they had the match day squad, which is only 23, and it was Sancho and Chilwell that were left out, wasn't it? Were they injured?
No. No.
I don't get it.
You just had to leave two behind.
How can you leave Sancho out?
He had to take two spare goalkeepers, didn't he?
Yeah.
It was some funny rule about that. And I also haven't quite picked up. I'm going to have to do a read up on the offside rule. I think something about from the elbow, isn't it? They do it.
Oh, is it different in this tournament?
Yeah, isn't it from up here?
Oh, I don't know.
So
I
it's
didn't
not
realise they
your
did
arm,
differently.
it's from your shoulder or something. I think I picked up because the VAR hasn't cocked it all up yet, has it? Because it seems a bit loose, doesn't it? The VAR seems to just let things go.
Yeah, it's kept with the decisions made by the linesman or the referee quite a lot, hasn't it?
It has.
It hasn't changed it very much.
That's right. They're not. It seems to be a bit less a bit less German.
I mean, the one that they obviously did give was the one against Wales, and that was obviously offside. But yeah, they've been lenient with a few.
They have. They've been lenient with a few. Yeah.
Hmm.
So on that note, well, and the penalty that that Denmark got given. I just thought that was shocking. Didn't get that at all. I would have jumped up and down. Okay, then. So it's Pookie for the golden boot, is it? And we'll be back on Wednesday. Kieran, say goodbye, Kieran.
Goodbye, everyone.
I want that in French on Wednesday, please. Can you remember French?
I can try. I don't know it off by heart.
Okay, no. And I'll learn it in some other language. I'll learn it in
North Macedonian.
North Macedonian. What language they speak?
I have no idea. Probably English.
Okay, I'll learn goodbye in their language, and you do the same in whatever you're going to do. And we'll say goodbye. See ya, everybody. Thank you.